A very good evening to you, and thanks for joining me tonight on your favorite program, Questions in the Heart. How's your day been? Well, it was the 52nd anniversary of the Giant of Africa, Nigeria. I'm wearing green today. Yeah, that's to celebrate the great country Nigeria. Come on, Nigeria, grow bigger and better. Like I told you last week, it's Black History Month in Britain in the month of October, and we've got lovely programs lined up for you. We've got the Labour MP for Newcastle Central, MP Chi Onwura on the show this month. We've got His Royal Highness Obatejo show on the show this month. We've got a special episode for the youth. We're going to have Femi Temowo. We're looking forward to having Yolanda. You know, mention them. This month you don't want to miss any of our episodes. I can assure you, you'll be blessed. Each week will come your way. And to open the Black History Month in a grand style for us tonight, I've got a young man, a young businessman who is doing African proud in the UK. You know, he built a business from the start up to a multi-million-pound organization within 4 years as a university student. You know, he went through ups and downs. You know, he lost everything in the 2008 credit crunch. You know, but I can assure you he's bounced back, doing great, doing fantastically well. Maybe he's even a multi-billion-pound business owner. He's going to tell you more tonight. He will be opening the Black History Month in a grand style for us. You know why? We want you better. You know, we want your finances better. We want you to quit your 5 to 9 job and do something for yourself. Be an employer of labor. Don't die don't die struggling to make ends meet. You can achieve even here in the UK. These are many more. After this commercial break, you get to meet my guests. See you soon.
Hello, ladies. It's time to be empowered, motivated, and encouraged at the Liberty House Women of Virtue Conference 2012 with the theme Kingdom Women Leading Women. Date 26th to 28th October 2012. Speakers are Dr. Sylvia Jordan from the USA and Lady B. Modede from Northampton. Venue King's Suite, Liberty House, 254 Wellingborough Road, Northampton, NN1 4EJ. Time Friday morning session 10 a.m., evening session 6 p.m., Saturday morning session 9 a.m., evening banquet 4 p.m., Sunday morning session 10:30 a.m. For more information and to register, please call 0796 087 7219. Liberty House sponsors Black History Month on Questions in the Heart.
Are you thinking of putting smiles on the faces of friends and family back home? Then top up their mobile phones with credit from your AfriMobile number. Also, make cheap international calls leveraging our outstanding rates to African countries in particular. Visit afrimobile.co.uk and request your free SIM today. AfriMobile, connecting love.
Afrikiko Bar, Restaurant and Nightclub. For all your African and continental dishes, come to Afrikiko Restaurant, Bar and Nightclub. Banku and tilapia, fufu, fried yam, pounded yam, egusi and many more. Excellent food range. Fully stocked bar, professional catering services, late night license, Afro entertainment, fully air conditioned. Afrikiko is a perfect spot for your special event, parties, weddings, meetings and private functions. Call us for a reservation today. Time Monday to Thursday 12 noon to 1 a.m. Friday to Sunday 12 noon to 4 a.m. Locate Afrikiko Restaurant, Bar and Nightclub on the Old Kent Road, London SE15 1NX. Telephone 0207 732 4041. or 07903 315 150 or visit www.afrikiko.uk.com. Afrikiko Restaurant, Bar and Nightclub, a place to be.
The business head or the head of business. The business head, the head of business. It's Black History Month. I'm going to bring you funny stuffs. Well, he's the business head of buy-to-let-cars.com and wheelsforsure.com. He's been through the good, the bad, and the ugly. Welcome with me. I call him Reg. Reg Cole. Good evening, Reg.
Good evening. How are you?
I'm very well. You?
Yeah, doing good, doing good.
Well,
thank you for inviting me over here
my
tonight.
pleasure, Reg. My pleasure. My pleasure. Who is Reg Cole?
Who is Reg Cole? Reg Cole is a family man with 2 kids, a hardworking person.
You can say that.
I started work right here in London at the age of 16. Never stopped working. Right through till 2008 when my world turned upside down.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa.
So I'm just a hard worker, fun person if you get to know me, but diligent in my work.
Okay, we're going to go through the details of Reg's life in this 1 hour of, our chat with him. I can assure you his story will inspire you to aspire. Trust me, you will want to go for it. If you can do it, you can do it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I know you have a degree in business admin. And while at the university, you started a business.
Yeah, the reason for that is quite simple. I was working a job, and I decided a long time ago I wasn't just going to go from high school to university. I wanted to figure out what it is I wanted to do.
Okay.
So for that reason, my siblings, they went straight from school to university, but I chose not to. And once I figured out what I wanted to do, which was business, I decided that I would liaise with my employers at the time to give me time off Monday, Wednesday, and Friday to go to university, night school.
Okay.
Turns out that some of the other employees became a little bit uncomfortable with my arrangements, leaving at 5, and so on, three days a week. We're in the retail environment in the car industry. As you know, people work till the evening in some of those. But so I decided, well, okay, nothing's going to get in my way from going to university. I wasn't doing it because I wanted a job. I was doing it because it was a personal ambition. So I thought, well, okay, I'll just quit work. So I quit work. That was in September of 2002, I believe, or 2003. Yeah, 2003, and started my business on the 1st of December 2003 by myself with a savings of £23,000. 5 years later, it was turning over $1.25 million.
While you were still in school?
Well, I just finished school 1 year after that, so it was 4 years of night school. So 2000.
4 years of school and business.
Yes. So 1 year later after that, so the 5th year, the business was turning over $1 million $1.25 million at this point. You probably heard of it, Credit Lab Finance Solutions.
Yeah.
It was on television, on the buses, radio stations and so on. So it was good business.
Wow, you were doing really great then.
We're doing really well. We were the best, the company that we worked for that produced 98% of our income, we were the #1 dealer in London and South East. And I did something quite different. Here we are selling cars with we didn't have any stock or anything like this. We used the Toyota principle just in time. So you would come to me and would get you the finance, would agree what your monthly payments are going to be, and we'll get you the car that you said you wanted. Just like that. So, my money was not sat on dead stock sitting in the parking lot. I didn't have to pay all these costs. So it was good business. It was good business.
Wow. Okay. So what happened to you in 2008?
2008, I can remember the dates quite clearly. It was April 15th. Just that morning woke up. It was a beautiful day. I had my daughter, who was 1 at the time, to take to St. George's Hospital for a little operation. She had a little mole on a leg. So we took her to hospital. It's a beautiful day. We came back. In fact, she heard Daddy's advert on the radio as we were driving. And, you know, that sort of exercised my mind a little bit that she was awake from the recovery. So I went back to work. Stopped off at one of my offices in Streatham, stayed with the other guys in the office, and then we got this phone call about 5:30 that afternoon to say that the company that produced 98% of the business was going out of business.
Come on.
So the person that was on the other end of the phone was crying. So I said to him, Steve, I said, Steve, why are you crying? You can come work for me. He says, no. He said, Reg, he said, I'm crying because this is going to affect you also. He said, because that's it. That's the end. We
98%?
98% of your income. So imagine if your income is, I don't know, let's just use a figure, you know, £10,000, and let's just use that figure for example, and 9,800 of that income was gone. And then you got staff and premises to deal with. So that was the beginning of a very difficult time.
Wow. Okay, so what can you tell us more about your challenges during this recession?
Okay, during the challenges then, I would say some of the lessons is, number one, you shouldn't be afraid to use the facilities that are there for you to use. For example, I had Downing Street involved in my case. I had Lord Mandelson's office involved in my case. Now, they pushed as best as they could with the banks to say, well, listen, this guy had a viable business. One of his suppliers has gone under. You need to save not just him, but save the employees and the business that are working for him. So how do you do that? You knock on a lot of doors and you stay focused. It doesn't always mean you're going to get the results, but at least...
was it easy for you?
At least at the end of it, you would know that you've done what you had to do. But I guess the biggest lesson is not to depend on one source, no matter how sweet that sauce is. You know,
don't put all your eggs in one basket.
Absolutely, absolutely, very important, because that one basket could go wrong. You know, the one egg could go wrong, and all of a sudden you find yourself holding the baby with nowhere to go. Yeah, but yeah, so that was one of the key principles that I learned during that time, and you get to find out who your friends are as well.
When you're in trouble.
Absolutely, absolutely. It's you know, I had long-term friends that we, you know, went to school together, we did things together, and you know, during this difficult time, there's a saying that says, you don't know how strong a tea bag is until you put it in hot water. Yeah, you're going to find people are going to come to their level when you're in trouble. And some of them are very close to you as well. Yeah.
Well, for some people, that's the end of it. To even get strength and courage to pick up again would be very difficult.
Well, it wasn't easy. I could tell you that. You know, a lot of people shy away from things, but I'm a very emotional person. I use my emotion in everything, you know. So there was dark days when you felt like ending it all, you know, really. I don't know if you remember the gentleman that burnt his whole family down, Chris Foster. You know, you get that way sometimes when the world has been, when you've been making your own money and having your own independence since you were 16.
And all of a sudden
you found yourself, you know, for the first time in your life on the dole queue. It takes
courage.
It takes courage. But most importantly, when you lose your family, in my case, you know, there was a family breakdown. You know, my kids.
Was it due to the problem you had business-wise?
That was definitely the majority of it. Yes. So you had a situation where you've lost not just the material things which you can gain back, but your family, the whole essence of your life.
Wow.
So in my case, what helped me then? Well, it would be good to say we started with God. But that's yeah, it'd be good to say that, but that's not the reality. For me, what it was a little man, well, not a little man, but somebody that I followed from 2004, At this point in his life, he was doing some big strides. He was going to win the biggest prize of them all, if we're talking about Black history, man.
Yeah.
So it kept me going. I kept seeing Barack winning the debate and winning the primaries, and that just kept me going to the day where in my local newspaper, which I never read, opened it up, and there was this church that was celebrating Barack's inauguration. So I thought, well, I'll go to the church. It's a church that I've been to years ago, NTA in Tooting. So went there. And you just realize, hold on. And I'd read his books. If a man like that could come from where he's had to come from, he's the most dysfunctional person that I know. Yeah, if you read his books, it will tell you all what he's gone through. When I lived in America, the man was sleeping in an alley in New York. And now he's the president of the United States. So I guess the important point here is, what you do with your life, Esther, or the viewers, might not seem important to you whilst you're doing it.
You're right.
But there's somebody else across the world that might be taking courage from what you do. Like, for example, like what you set up here, there's somebody whose dream it is to do exactly what you're doing, and they're going through the difficulties to set it up. But just seeing you do it keeps them, So I mean, that's how it all started, and you picked yourself up and you said, well, okay, what do I do now? Yeah, what do I do now? So you go find a job.
Did you attempt getting a job?
Sorry?
Did you attempt ever looking for
Oh, absolutely. I mean, absolutely. I mean, I was dead set on my business idea. The business that we have today had been going on in my mind anyway for about 6 years now. So about 2006.
Okay.
Think about this. So trying to raise finance, I knocked on 150 doors, 151 to be precise.
Are you exaggerating?
No, 151 banks, institutions.
You knocked on 151.
Trust me, I went to them all.
Looking for finance.
Looking for finance. This was during the recession. The disappointing thing was, and I don't buy into the racism issue and whatever, loads of people invited me because the business plan made sense. But once I showed up, it was a different reception. No, I'm not kidding. So I flew to Sierra Leone. I went to see somebody who promised that they would put some money in. Turns out didn't happen. Went to America, chased somebody else. That didn't happen. So in April of 2010, I decided, well, I got kids to feed, so let's go find some work. So you started again from the bottom, what you had dealt with,
After being a multi-million owner and
so I started selling cars again in Battersea, Range Rovers. It was good because what it taught me was there's lots of money out here being made. There's lots of people that you perceive that you have ability over, but they're getting on with their lives and doing what they want to do. And you get to see the other side of the equation as well. Which is good. So I did that for a little bit, and in 2011 I thought, 2012 actually, this year, I thought, if I'm not going to get the finance from banks and so on, what's one of the publications that people read, that have money? It's the Sunday Times. So I put my advert there. And multiple people came forward, actually 12, just like the disciples. They came forward and said, we're willing to do business with you. But the very first person, if I was with him yesterday, that responded to the advert, after a week of looking through the papers, he came down, we had a 3-hour meeting, just a few minutes from where my office is today, and he shook my hand and said, you're in business, I'll give you all the money that you need on the terms that you set in.
Just one person?
Just one person. One meeting, one person.
After knocking on over 150 doors.
150 doors, all the big names. I'm not talking about your retail banks, all the big institutions, the capital partners and so on and so forth.
Wow. And one person showed us, like, come on, give me did they give you an open check?
Did they give me what?
An open check.
Oh, no. What he did was, he said, no, an open check. He said, I want you to get your lawyer, my lawyers, to write the documents. I just want one page. I don't want streams of paper. Just one page to say that I'm going to give you all the money that you need
Are you going to do business
on the
well?
equity, and you supply me the bank account, and I'll pay it in there, which is exactly what happened. That was it. In fact, the only other time I've seen him was yesterday. He came down and saw me yesterday. Yeah.
Wow.
So there you are.
Wow.
There's some good out there if you look for it.
Whoa, there are some good out there if you look for it. Don't take no for an answer.
Absolutely.
So, Reg, in the midst of all these, what struck you most? And how can we avoid such pitfalls in business?
Yeah, in terms of business, like I said before, is not depending on one thing, not depending on one entity for your income, never mind how safe. We've seen it with people who would probably get a contract from a government, and especially where we come from in Africa, that's a common thing. When the government changes hands, all of a sudden your lifestyle changes. Yeah, but it happens here as well. You know, with Labour, you know, Liberals and everything else. Once you know, things position change, so you don't want to depend on just one thing. You want to expand your base.
Enlarge your course.
Yeah, you know, expand your base. When you do that, what you do is you minimize the risks. You know, Paul Getty, one of the richest people that ever lived, said, I'd rather have 1% of 100 units, than 100% of one unit. Because when the one unit breaks down, you're gone.
Okay, before we go on our first commercial break tonight, Reg, what do you do now? How does your business work?
Okay. Well, we've got two businesses. What we've done is we're replacing the banking function. We're not replacing the banks, okay, and we're not bashing the banks either. Prior to 2008, what you had second and third tier funding for cars. So in the showroom, they would, you know, if the manufacturer said no to you, there would be another finance company that would say yes. Okay. So what we've done is we've sidestepped the banks and said, well, okay, there's the same way I raised money for my business, there's people out there with savings, pensions that are not earning them anything, that's grown in reverse because of inflation. If we can show them how they could get involved in putting a car on the road like they used to do with flats, and we can get a nurse or a tube driver to take that car on a lease for 3 years, they make money, better returns, okay? We make money as a company, but then the tube driver gets to continue on with his life, you know, as normal. Because what's happening, the reason why there's a bit of a downturn in the car industry at the moment is because of lack of finance. It's not because of lack of demand. The demand is out there, but there's no finance. The same with mortgage. It's not, you know, everybody wants a house. But because the mortgages are restricted, people can't buy a house. It's the same in finance. So we've just broken that system by saying, well, you got money, bring it on. We'll put the car on the road. We'll manage the process for you. But it's quite a sharp process, though, because all the cars are pay-as-you-go, which basically means if you don't pay, the car doesn't work.
All the cars are pay-as-you-go?
Yeah. So I give you a brand new car, for 3 years. The only deal is you've got to pay me when the payments are due every month. There will be no excuses, because if you don't pay, the car is sharp enough.
You put me on a payment plan.
No, I don't need to. Look, just like you have your phone.
I just wanted to get a clear picture of what you do.
No, just like you have your phone.
Yeah.
You know, if your phone was pay-as-you-go, it doesn't matter how urgent your call was.
Yeah.
If you didn't have the credits on there, you could not make a
call.
call.
Yeah.
Same with our cars. If you haven't paid us, let's say your payment was due to come in on the 26th of this month, and you missed your payment, and we tried to contact you once, twice, and you decided not to answer your phone, one day you'll go to start the car wouldn't start.
We'll go on a commercial break. You know, I know you might be, you know, itching to ask Reggie your questions tonight. Is the business head of buytoletcars.com. He's explaining to us how his business works. You know, get your questions together. He can help you. You know, you need a brand new car. You need any type of car, isn't it?
Well, no. We have a few choices which are on the website for wheelsforshore.com.
Okay.
That's the end user. So that's the person who might have been turned down for a car credit. We can make that available on a brand new car. Okay?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then on the other side, the other company is if you're not earning what you should be earning on your money
Yeah.
with the banks, we can help you maximize that
Whoa.
by joining the two together.
Brilliant, brilliant. You need a car? Come on, Reggie's there tonight. Grab one. I'll be back after this commercial break.
Hello, ladies. It's time to be empowered, motivated, and encouraged at the Liberty House Women of Virtue Conference 2012 with the theme Kingdom Women Leading Women. Date 26th to 28th October 2012. Speakers are Dr. Sylvia Jordan from the USA and Lady B. Modede from Northampton. Venue King's Suite, Liberty House, 254 Wellingborough Road, Northampton, NN1 4EJ. Time Friday morning session 10 a.m., evening session 6 p.m., Saturday morning session 9 a.m., evening banquet 4 p.m., Sunday morning session 10:30 a.m. For more information and to register, please call 0796 087 7219. Liberty House sponsors Black History Month on Questions in the Heart.
Are you thinking of putting smiles on the faces of friends and family back home? Then top up their mobile phones with credit from your AfriMobile number. Also, make cheap international calls leveraging our outstanding rates to African countries in particular. Visit afrimobile.co.uk and request your free SIM today. AfriMobile, connecting love.
Afrikiko Bar, Restaurant and Nightclub. For all your African and continental dishes, come to Afrikiko Restaurant, Bar and Nightclub. Banku and tilapia, fufu, fried yam, pounded yam, egusi and many more. Excellent food range. Fully stocked bar, professional catering services, late night license, Afro entertainment, fully air conditioned. Afrikiko is a perfect spot for your special event, parties, weddings, meetings and private functions. Call us for a reservation today. Time Monday to Thursday 12 noon to 1 a.m. Friday to Sunday 12 noon to 4 a.m. Locate Afrikiko Restaurant, Bar and Nightclub on the Old Kent Road, London SE15 1NX. Telephone 0207 732 4041 or 07903 315 150 or visit www.afrikiko.uk.com. Afrikiko Restaurant, Bar and Nightclub, a place to be.
It's been Reggie Cole with us on tonight's edition of Questions in the Heart, looking at, how to, raise, build, and survive a business in the United Kingdom. Reg, you all right?
Yes, I'm fine. Thank you very much. It's been good so far.
Yeah. So, considering the present economic realities, what industries will you advise or consider safest for people to launch into? You want to consider things like foreign exchange. You want to consider things like child-minded business. You want to consider food business. You want to consider opening up a store to cater for, the needs of the minority. What area, what field will you say is the safest to launch into business-wise? I know there are thousands of Africans there who would want to have a business of their own like you, want to be a business owner like you,
Yeah.
What will you advise?
Yeah, okay. One of the things is the child-minded business. Like I say, we've got 2 kids, the private school and so on. But the child-minded business is a big business if it's done properly. I know it's difficult. And I know there's all kinds of legislation and so on and so forth that goes with that. But in the dual parent, working parent lifestyle that we lead today, if you can set up a proper child minding institution. You start from small, not necessarily in the neighborhood where you live. You can live where you live and go set up a child minding in a semi-affluent area where you have middle income people working that can afford to pay the sort of cost that it takes for a child. That's a very good and simple business to do. Another business that's really good, and I haven't seen this yet, that would really work. There's a book by a gentleman called John McCormack. It's called Self-Made in America. Self-Made in America started with $80,000. It was a hairdresser's, it's a barber's. Okay? But the thing is, I struggle to find this. I've got loads of friends that are barbers. Sometimes I give them that book to read. If you get on today with the professionals that we have within the African community today that want a different kind of treatment, and you start a barber shop from scratch, but tailor it to suit those people, i.e. what I'm saying is, you're not trying to be a snob, but what I'm saying is you're taking appointments rather than them just turn up and sit down and waste their time. Time is very valuable to these people. You're switching your mobile phone off when you're cutting their hair and so on. And the store is clean, music is nice and soft, not loud. Sooner or later, you're gonna be getting a reputation as a place to go, and then what you do is you duplicate yourself, in different boroughs. So I know that if I'm caught in Victoria and I want to cut my hair, which is far away from home, I know if I go down to Clapham Junction and go to Esther's, it's the same treatment, even though Esther, the founder, is not there. That's very important. A lot of businesses that we get into, it tends to be about the personality, which it shouldn't, because you're not going to be able to grow.
Isn't it?
If you think about we're in Faith TV, if you think about Jesus, if he was just the only person that could talk to you, we'd be in trouble today. So you're going to be able to duplicate yourself. So that's one good area, but child minding is another. But above all, I think for those people, especially in areas, food and so on, that could set up a semi-professional supermarket for us, for our type of people. You go to the Chinese cash and carry, and it's all nicely set and professionally run. You go to the Indian cash and carry, it's the same thing. If we had that sort of enterprise going on, or if somebody out there that has the knack for that sort of thing can develop that sort of venue, it would make a lot of sense. Because what you don't want to do, Esther, is it's easy to talk about the industries.
Yeah.
And anybody can pinpoint an industry.
Yeah.
But if you're starting off as an entrepreneur yourself, you got to have the love of what you do.
Wow.
Very important.
Right.
If you follow the money, you're failing already. If you would not do it for free, then it's not something that you should consider. Never mind what the margins are.
Isn't it?
Yeah. So we talk about food is important. Child mind is not going to go away.
Yeah.
People want to do their hair today. I mean, I know I do mine every 2 weeks or so. If I could do it every week, if I had the time. But when I go in, I don't want to be sitting around. I don't want somebody talking on the mobile while they're doing my hair. All of these things. So what you look for, you do the Branson technique. If you look at Richard Branson, all through, apart from this launch into space, all through all of his businesses, all he's done is done something slightly better.
Wow.
Just look at the portfolio. It's just done something slightly better, slightly different, and you just follow the same path.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That's brilliant. How would you say fundraising for business is like these days? How can people approach looking for finance to start a business in the UK?
Well, as we discussed my story there, that's one of the downfalls. If I have any comment to make regarding our participation as a people, is those 150 rooms that I knocked in and business that I met, in the boardroom where we actually sat and I did a presentation, there wasn't somebody that looked like me in that boardroom.
Wow,
Okay.
here we go.
Yeah, so there might have been a receptionist or somebody else, but there wasn't somebody that looked like me where the decision was being made. So right from the start, the odds are stacked against you because, people look for difference. When it comes to nitty-gritty, you would look at the fact that you're Nigerian, I'm Syrian, and so on, when it comes to that. But you got to be innovative. You got to be innovative. You got to be out there in people's faces because the banks, don't be fooled, the banks don't have any money.
Wow.
You know, I was talking to my investor who's a multimillionaire, and he's saying they haven't even declared a third of their losses yet. Well, it's true. You know, the houses and the planes that are being repossessed are now being sold at distressed prices. So don't look at the banking system because it's dysfunctional at the moment. What you've got to find a way to do is get to the people who've got their money in the bank, which is what I did in the Times of the Sunday Times advert, but I don't know what other avenue people can use, you know, based on the cost. But you also have to have a viable business. One that is not, in times of this recession, what you don't want is a business that is a want. You don't want that. What I want to do is I want to fly to Spain. So a want for me is I could get on British Airways because I want to. But if I need to get to Spain and I didn't have the money, if it's a need, I'll get on Ryanair. So you want to be in a business where people need you in times like this. Because people are all cutting back. I mean, I'm sure you're doing the same. I do the same. You know, I don't go to the same restaurants that I used to go to. Not because of anything, but you don't want to be frivolous with cash. You know. I guess to answer the question is you try to find where people are that have money and address them and keep knocking on doors. Don't stop.
Wow. Okay. It's Black History Month. How often do you keep in touch with your African roots?
All the time. I speak Creole on a daily basis. I love who I am. I'm African through and through. As a matter of fact, one of the things that drive me is the fact that I'm African. I don't want to be looked upon as a second-class citizen, and I don't want my kids to be considered as such. So I'm very conscious of Africa. Years ago, I used to say to people when we were teenagers yet, I used to say, Africa will change because of boardroom greed. And it's happening already. We see now the fight between the Chinese fighting for position, the Americans going over. Hillary Clinton just did a trip about a few months ago, going to Nigeria saying, listen, don't take the Chinese people's money, deal with us. So the fight has already begun. In fact, it started a little while ago. So yeah, I mean, I'm very much in touch with my African roots.
Now, what would be your advice for Africans in the diaspora to, you know?
Try to make some money here. Follow the Indians. Let's look at this. Most of the Indians that I know that have made money came here because Idi Amin kicked them out. But they used the system here where there was no tribal conflict and who you knew and whatever. They just worked hard, made it here, and took their cash abroad. So that's what you've got to do. You've got to make it where you have the fair rules, where your tribe does not come into it. You can't, you know, I say to people, it's like you and I don't know if you had streams of classes in Nigeria where you had, you know, class A, class B, you can't say, well, I can't do it in class A. I've got to wait till I go to class C, you know, before I perform. You have to perform where you have all the rules and regulations on your side. And then you can take that cash. I say to people, don't go to Africa looking for a job. Go to Africa to create jobs.
Brilliant.
Yeah,
brilliant.
so, yeah.
Brilliant. Don't go to Africa looking for a job. Go to Africa creating a job. You did mention the African race has made, I mean, the highest progress so far of all races given our history. But money is a place where Africans are not really, you know, the only area where we make money is in arts and entertainment, you know, industries. We need to be at a position where we can really control money as Africans, not only in entertainment, not only in arts. You know, we've had a lot of progress, fine, but then how can we as Africans, you know, have control over money?
A very good question. We're divided in this area. One of our central points as Africans is religion, you know, whether it's Christians or Muslims and whatever. When it comes to money, we're totally divided. We know how to party, some of us, you know, good funerals, good christenings, good weddings. But when it comes to the issue of let's do something together. And to address the point, yes, the African, as I said, has made good progress. Now, imagine if I lock you up in that cupboard for 400 years, and yet, I mean, it was only in 1962 that the first black man went to a university in a mixed-race university in America. So only 1962, and today there's one in the White House. So we have made progress. What we need to get a hold of now is do what the Jews have done. You know, the Jews, they're sensible. You've read the book, Thou shalt prosper. It's go where money multiplies.
Wow.
Yeah, control that. We have to control that. If the questions that we've asked about looking for funding, and I couldn't find another black person to lean on, and you're asking me, where can people go look for funding? And we're saying, well, they should go try. We should be able to be answering these questions. I remember in 1999, Gathering of Champions at the Excel Center thereabouts, Canary Wharf, wherever. I was there when Eddie Long said, you know, I know he's gone through his troubles, but he did say this. He said, it only cost £5 million to open a black bank. It's 2012. Wow. We don't have one.
Wow.
There's Muslim banks, there is Turkish banks, we don't have one. Why is that?
Wow.
We drive nice cars, we party hard, we don't have one. So what's going on? What's going on? So
wow. So we should put forces together, unite together as Africans, you know. Let's get together and get something great done, isn't it?
Absolutely. It's time. I see a lot of people, and I used to say this, I said, if you've come all the way from the tarmac where you left, Nigeria, you know, Ghana, whatever, and your biggest aim is to have a house on a mortgage and a car on hire purchase, you might as well not go through the strain of poll tax and community charge and all of this and just go back, because that's all it is. You know, you can feed yourself in Africa, you can put a roof over your head. Do you need a car? I don't know. So why bother? We must do something more. You know, to go through this cold weather and shiver and all the arthritis that we have to put up with, you need to show something for it.
You're very right. You're very right. So who is your favorite black hero?
It has to be Nelson Mandela, and I don't say that just lightly. I mean, I'm talking about a guy who had a beautiful wife. Every African man likes a beautiful wife. Had children, had the education, and he thought, well, I'm going to fight for people who don't know me, and I don't know them, but I'm going to fight injustice this is big, at the price of being with my family. Okay?
That's a big one.
That's a big one. That's another thing that we do need. I see a lot of people, including myself, but a lot of people start off with a dream. They have a dream, and they're looking for the victory.
Wow.
But what's missing is the middle bit. There's a struggle, and it's not a straight line struggle. You start off, the struggle goes away for a little bit, and then the struggle comes again. You must be willing. Tell people it's like nature, you know. You start off with your husband, you get married, you say, well, let's have a baby. It's a nice thought, yeah. So you go through the process of doing that. And then the struggle is when you're pregnant with that dream, that purpose. There's morning sickness, there's the food getting swollen, and so on. And again, very important, even when you do have the victory, which is the baby being born, you still got to look after that, because the baby is still young, so you still got to nurse it, otherwise something happens. So to go through that, the price that Nelson Mandela has paid, I think is the only one that we would have in our lifetime that would be willing to pay that price. But then again, there's another hero that I don't think most people know about, because he was US based. I don't know if you know the first black billionaire.
In the US?
Well, the first black billionaire in the world.
Oh, in the world?
Yeah.
Wow.
His name was Reginald Lewis. Did you know about him?
I think about it by him.
Reginald Lewis. He wrote a book called Why Should White Guys Have All the Fun? He died in 1993 at the age of 50 years old. Grew up poor in Baltimore. He is the only person to date that's actually made it to Harvard University without filling an application form.
Whoa.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, there's a building now in the campus that's dedicated to Reginald Lewis. Yeah, so he's got a story as well. But behind that story, I guess one of the for man's perspective, his wife was the backbone. You know, his wife was the person that made his home his castle. So whilst he was fighting in Wall Street, trying to get things done business-wise, I was able to come home to a wife who made sure, yeah. So those two people.
Wow.
There's more.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, before we go tonight, I know people are listening to you tonight, learning from what you're saying. What other business tips do you have for people out there today who are, you know, ready to give you all it takes to be a business owner and make something better out of life here in the UK?
Okay, the first thing is you have to give it your all. First, you identify what you're good at. You can't be part-time about a business. You can start it part-time, but it must possess you. A lot of people don't allow themselves that luxury or deficiency, depends how you look at it. A lot of people want, you know, they want to be in business, but also want to be doing other things. You know, I say to people, you can't be a David Beckham if you want to be down the pub every day. You've got to be on the field practicing. So the first thing, you've got to be serious about what you want to do and understand it takes work. It's not going to happen, you know, just because you're a nice person. You know, I see a lot of people in church just pray that God is going to come down and do it. It's not going to happen. You need to apply yourself. Second thing is define your purpose. Okay, define your purpose. If you get the goals that are required, that you've set yourself, what would that make of you? How will that impact your life? Are you willing to pay that price? Like we talked about the Mandela. Are you willing to not see your family? And so on. And then be bold. Boldness has genius and power in it. You have to be bold. You can't hide your light under a bushel. You got to knock on doors. You got to be willing to face criticism from people. Some people that you love, and they love you, they would laugh at you. They would say, well, what gives you this idea? Yeah, why don't you just go get a job? My question to the people that say that is, so if everybody thought the same way about just getting the job, who would create the job?
Exactly.
So be willing to take risk and understand that everything is material. I've lost a lot of material things, you know, SL500s, Lexuses, and so on, and beautiful homes. But just understand that everything is materialistic. If you've got the brain power, you can come again.
You can come again.
You can come again.
Before we go tonight, you want to talk to people again on how to benefit from your services. How can the masses benefit from your services?
Yes. So it's two businesses. You got buy-to-let-cars.com, which you see in the Sunday Times every Sunday now, and we're on 60 buses and so on. And what that does is for those people at home who've got money, but the money is growing at 2 or 3% in the bank, we'll show you how you can put it behind an asset, which is a car. You replace the bank, because if you went to buy a vehicle now on finance, the bank is going to make more than what the car was worth. So you replace the bank so you can make more than what the car was worth in the first place. And we manage the process for you.
Okay.
Now, so Esther's bought a car because she's got money as an investment, right? But then we have Ebun, that's a nurse who needs a car, but the bank keeps saying no. So we put the two together with the technology that we have in the car. We police to make sure that Ebun would pay what is due to Esther every month. Okay, so on one hand, so it's twofold. On one hand, you got people with money that are looking for better returns, come and talk to us and buy to let cars. On the other hand, you got people that need cars that are being declined finance today because of the economic situations, as well as their own credit score. The credit score in the UK, it takes 6 years on your file. Well, 6 years is a long time. So we look at somebody on what we call the old-fashioned banking style. In 1998, when I was starting my banking life, you went into the bank for overdraft. The bank manager looked at you, asked you what it was for. They looked at your income and expenditure, and they signed it off. That's what we do. So we put you in a new car. If you're good today, if the last couple of years you've been paying your bills, we'll give you a car. We'll give you a car. So that's what we do. You know, one hand you make some money if you've got some. The other hand you get a new car if you need one.
Wow. Meeting people's needs with both hands left and right.
That's right.
It's been Reggie Cole on the show tonight. I know people are there listening to you, and I'm sure they will get in touch with you. You need a car, your credit is good or bad, get in touch.
Get in touch
with Reg. It would sort you out.
That's right.
And before you go tonight, what would be your advice for Africans? It's Black History Month in October. You opened the month for us in the Grand Star today, telling people how to make money. Oh, your calls are coming in now. We have to go. Who is on the line tonight? What would be your message for Africans, especially in the UK tonight?
Yes, we're riding a wave now. Where the crest, your music is being played now on Choice FM during the day. Everybody's talking about Africa. It's time to be connecting with your roots. But let's go back to what I said. Don't go to Africa empty-handed. Try to do something here.
Work here.
Do it here.
Okay.
Make something here, and you can take that with you.
Good evening, Tosin. Let's take your call before we go tonight. Good evening.
Hello, good evening.
Thanks for calling.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I really love the topic that's been aired tonight. But what I would like to ask Reginald tonight is, what sort of qualities, because it's easy to start a business, but what sort of qualities would you need to actually run the business so that it doesn't fail after a few years?
All right, Tosin, thanks for calling.
Yeah, that's easy. It doesn't take the education that you think, because we have lots of educated derelicts in society today. Key thing, focus. Focus backed by tenacity. You must be focused. People come in, they would want to sway you. They would try to give you suggestions. But if you've got your plan, by all means be flexible enough, but don't be wishy-washy about what you're doing. You've got to stay focused and stay on top of it the whole time. That's very important.
Stay focused.
Yeah.
That's the message tonight. So you were telling Africans to make money here and go invest at home.
Let's make money here, and for those that want to go invest at home. There's the infrastructure. I just read the other day in the Evening Standard about this lady that comes over every 6 weeks and shops and spends lots of money. It's all good. We're getting all this positive coverage now. Nigeria is growing to become, the number one economy in Africa. Sierra Leone is growing, but we need the infrastructure. We need the people who've experienced what working for your money without corruption is like. But we need to take that, but not in a job capacity. I think you go as a business person and you influence society that way. Yeah.
Thanks, Reg, for coming on this show tonight. Please, if you have more questions for Reg, get in touch with him. His details is on the screen. We've got to go tonight. And watch out for us next week as we come your way with another life transforming edition, of Questions in the Heart and marking and celebrating Black History Month. You don't want to miss any of our programs. And if you want to catch up on any of our programs, just log on to www.questionsintheheart.com. We've got a store there where you can buy materials that will bless you, Get back to us, feed us back. Let's together make Israel. Thanks for coming on this show.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
I'm coming for a brand new car.
Fantastic. I'll be looking forward to you.
So till we see next week by His grace, be good. Get in touch with Reg. Be a good African. God bless you. Good night.
Good night.